How's it going, everybody? I'm Jeff Slakey here at West Mason Fire Station 16-2 with Chief Welander and Commissioner Severance. I saw in the Journal the other day, it said, Chief Matt Welander wants to talk with you about what's happening in West Mason. I said, oh, that's great. I'm going to come talk to him then.
Yep.
What is happening out here? You guys have had a couple levies. They've failed, and now you guys are looking at some pretty, some pretty unknown paths ahead.
Yeah, we're kind of getting in uncharted territory with our ability to respond. We looked back several years, and we're really the only ones failing election after election. We don't know why. We would love to hear from people, obviously. But as our funding goes down relative to inflation and whatever else, our ability to operate is diminishing. We're not getting the volunteers from the area, and neither is anybody else. I mean, it's a nationwide thing right now. The NFPA says we're at the lowest level of volunteers that we've had in 30-something years. So more and more departments are needing to go to at least that part-paid model, combination department, if you will. And we're kind of in a position where we're not going to be able to do that. And at that point, then who's coming to the house, if somebody has a problem, medical, fire, or otherwise?
That's a great question then. Trevor, as a commissioner sitting here and looking at the district, what are you seeing from your level perspective, and how can we encourage the folks here in the district to learn more about the services that are offered here?
Well, as the chief said, volunteerism is down across the fire service, across all services at this point. Inflation goes up, more people need to make sure that they're working and spending their time and money on their families, and it makes less ability for people to give back to their communities. So we're actually right now down to, we have 2 paid staff, and our part-time secretary is our 2 chiefs who are actually working on call 24/7, which is too much to ask of anybody. We do have some good dedicated volunteers. Most of them are from out of district who pick up where they can, but when the rubber meets the road and you have to rely that somebody's coming, we only have 2 people I can guarantee you that are going to get there if they're there, if they're not on another call, if they're not doing something else. And that's just not a sustainable model. Our tax increases only go up to 1% per year, if at all. Inflation has gone up significantly. The issue is our costs have gone up just like everybody else's household costs. Our costs for fuel, equipment, all that stuff has gone way up, just like everybody else. We can't make more money. We can only make what the 1% increase that we can do, plus we only have whatever the voters allow us, which is why we ran the levy lid lift and the EMS levy last time, is trying to make up some of that gap so we can get back to providing services.
Talk to me a little bit about how you do a budget here. I mean, is it similar to a household budget in the sense that you have to pay for this stuff? I mean, it's not like, you're part of the government in a sense, but still you have bills that you pay, and bills come through here.
We have set costs that we have little to no control over. We have to pay for dispatching, we have to pay for vehicle maintenance, repairs, fuel. We have to pay for fire gear that legally is only good for 10 years. So we have to keep replacing that kind of stuff. Well, it's about, top to bottom, it's about $4,000 a set right now. And so you take your budget, you take all of your expenses throughout the year, you take the money that's available, and then you start cutting. Because right now we're not at a point where we can add services. We're looking at what can we realistically shave off this year is where our budget's going to be. Now, where we've done a really good job as a department is finding money. We send people out on fires so we can make money with the trucks. We write grants. This year we got a remote control monitor for our tender that was free. We got some bunker gear on a grant that was free. We do everything that we can to make that up, but none of that's guaranteed. Right. None of that is something that I can, pull out the magic ball and go, oh, cool, we're going to have this next year. So realistically, we take our pot of money, which this next year will be, $435,000 or whatever, which is nothing. And we'll have to figure out what we can pay for. If we can pass the EMS levy, that's a considerable bolster. That would be 3 full-time equivalents, and we'd be able to go from there. So
it's hard, Trevor, too, when you see signage out there that says, we support EMS or we support fire service. In your case, too, in your other profession, we support law enforcement. And then when it's election day, the turnout is low, and then you don't pass. And so you're really kind of sitting there going, well, if all these people were saying, yes, we support you, that didn't translate in the election results.
Right.
How do you square that up?
It's difficult. Everybody says they support emergency services, especially the fire service. But when the rubber meets the road and it comes down to voting with their wallet, I understand everything's expensive. Everybody's tired of taxes. Even I live in the district. I'm a district member. I'm technically a volunteer as a commissioner, albeit elected. So, I understand that. I'm one. I paid the same taxes. However, it just doesn't go as far, like I said, as anybody else's. And it's really hard to say, yeah, we support you, we want you there, but we don't want to pay for you to be there. They want it for free, and it's just not sustainable. We're up against a trifecta of problems, and we've had to really prioritize. The staffing's one of them. Equipment is another. We have very old equipment. It's outdated. It needs to be updated. Some of it is getting to the point it's not repairable anymore. And all of our stations. We have one station that you could consider a fire station. The rest of them I consider 3 garages. They're not up to be able to staff things. And if we don't have staff, we can't train those volunteers that everybody asks us to rely on. You have to train them. If we don't have money, we can't equip them. And by law, we have to give them the proper equipment. So we're kind of up against a wall in many aspects.
So at the end of the day, if we're in the same position a year from now, what are the options for West Mason Fire?
Well, the big ugly option is that if you're having a heart attack or your house is on fire, nobody local is coming. You might get you will get an ambulance from out of town, but if you're a long ways out, that may not be in time. It may not be good enough. If you have a house fire, you may get somebody from out of town, but if nobody from West Mason shows up, you may also get a really large bill with that, because districts can't gift public funds to another district just because their taxpayers don't want to pay for it.
And going to another call from district to district would be considered that.
Yeah, it would be mutual aid.
Yeah.
And one of the things and every district in the county relies very heavily on it, is mutual aid, but it has to be mutual. So if we want to get mutual aid, we have to provide mutual aid, and vice versa. So without the mutual end of it, then it's a billable, charge, and if you could end up paying a bill that is much larger than any tax increase I could imagine.
Sure. I'm out here at West Mason Fire with Chief Welander and Commissioner Severance. West Mason Fire, if you look at it in the numbers in the county district-wise, it's about 4th in calls, but near the bottom, around 10th in taxable base that they get there. So you can see even right there's some discrepancies. Important to get the information there. These gentlemen are open to talking to you, and they want to talk to you, especially if you were against some of these past votes, to figure out why and how you can turn that around. That would be great. Thank you so much, guys, for your time.
Thank you, Jeff.